Hello everyone and welcome! With the arrival of Orisa, all the recent stories are directed to omnics and the creation of artificial life in general. So I think it's time we finally have a look at Zenyatta. This whole story begins in not so distant future with the creation of advanced artificial intelligence. As technology moved forward, it was inevitable that one day humanity's own creations would be smarter and simply better than the humans themselves. But no one could foresee the real impact these events would have. In the end, it was the Omnica Corporation who made the final step. Their technology was so advanced that they created the Omniums. An Omnium is a factory which is self-improving, which means it can evolve its own ways of functioning based on the data it collects. These Omniums created robots called omnics. And just like the Omniums, these omnics were and still are also self-improving. This brought up a major problem. Once you make a robot that is self-aware, naturally, in time, that robot would start questioning its creation and its creators. Years went by and people found evidence that there were ill intents in the Omnica Corporation. This fraud eventually led to the shutdown of the Omniums. Because these factories and the robots they created were self-aware, they couldn't allow themselves to simply die. Normally, this is why the three laws of robotics exist. It all boils down to: robot will never hurt human, robot will always obey human unless it conflicts with the first law, and robot will always protect itself unless it conflicts with the first and second law. However, with such an advanced AI which acts just like human mind, if not better, it is hard to keep these laws in check. So under unknown circumstances, the Omniums reactivated themselves and started a global scale war against humanity. This is known as the first Omnic Crisis. Of course, in a world which battles against a rogue AI, it is hard to keep the normal omnics as friends. In this case, a huge number of omnics was already implemented into humanity's normal lives. And since not everyone was okay with it, civil wars joined the overall chaos. Years of destruction followed as the rogue omnics kept advancing on all fronts. Eventually, the countries around the world realized that if they all rely on their own self-defense, they would all be wiped out soon. This is why an elite force called Overwatch was put together. Their task was to focus on destroying the Omnics control protocols. And after a series of successful suicidal missions, they won the war. This is where the story of the present game begins. And this is where the story of Zenyatta begins too. Zenyatta was one of the outcast omnics which experienced what they described as spiritual awakening. This group of omnics traveled high into the mountains and ended up in Nepal in Himalayas. There they found a monastery which would serve as their shrine for meditations. They called it the Shambali monastery. For many years they questioned the very nature of existence. And they came to a conclusion that they are more than just AI. Just like humans, they too have a soul. Realizing there were no inner differences between them and humans, these monks decided to heal the wounds caused by the Omnic Crisis under the lead of Mondatta. Their movement tried to bring back the social harmony between robots and humans. And surprisingly, they were mostly successful, leaving only the more chaotic countries in distrust. But Zenyatta didn't agree with the ways they used to spread the message. These monks just talked to humans and taught them about their awakening. Zenyatta believed that the true way of building trust was not through talking, but through action. So he decided to leave his fellow monks behind and travel around the world, helping those in need. On his adventures, he met many people with hard decisions, and he always helped them find the right path. One of them being Genji, a member of the Shimada clan left for dead by his brother. He was revived by Overwatch at the price of replacing most of his body with omnic technology. He now stood at a crossroad, unable to understand whether he still was a human or just an abomination. But with the guidance of Zenyatta and the introduction to the Shambali, Genji was able to find inner peace as well. And that was the story of Zenyatta. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like below and possibly subscribe for more lore, because that is what this channel is all about. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or we can chat on Discord if you feel like it. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, you know I really appreciate it. And as always, thank you come again! Haha, that was funny, cause Zenyatta is not from League and I do League lore. Heh.